Shalom Aleichem again, and welcome back to our Hilchos Kibud series. We're going to try to make it again, 9-minute shir of Hilchos Kibud. Baruch Hashem, it's going strong. We're getting great feedback, and b'siyata d'shmaya, we're all going to excel in this wonderful mitzvah. Okay, we're holding over here now in a very sensitive topic of the Hilchos of Kibud. These shilas that I want to discuss today have to do with something which I mentioned a few times. What happens when a parent asks a child to do something which they don't get a direct benefit from, meaning they're not exactly being fed or being clothed, but it makes them happy? Does a child have to go listen to them or not? So, there is a famous shita of the Marik, which is quoted in the Shulchan Aruch and in the Ramah in Yerodea, Simin, Reish Mem, Sif Chav Hei. Over there we learn a few famous halachas, and the question is, how much of it is applicable lemaisa and how much is not? So, the Marik is mechadesh to us over here a chiddush of din, that if a child wants to go and marry a certain person, and the parents don't agree with it, the halacha is that they don't have to go and listen to the parents. Okay? Another halacha is brought down that if the child wants to go and learn in a certain yeshiva, and the parents say, no, I don't want you to learn in the yeshiva, or I don't want you to learn in that yeshiva, but the child says, no, for me it's great, I will do well over there. So the halacha is that the child does not have to listen to the parent. That is the strict letter of the halacha, which is brought down in Shulchan Aruch and in the Ramah in regards to those two questions. And we see that this is really a machlokas rishonim in regards to this halacha, because I mentioned before many times that the Gemara in Kedushin and Daf Lamed Aleph Amud Beis teaches us that the ikar chiyuv of Kibud Avim is to feed a parent, is to give a parent something to drink, to dress a parent, to bathe a parent. Those are the things that a person is giving a direct hana to the parents, and that is the ikar chiyuv min haTorah of being mechabed them. So the Rishonim over there, and also in Maseches Yevamos and Davav, they discuss the question, what is also included in this? Is it included also when a parent wants the child to do something that they feel is right? That's also as if he is feeding them something, he is dressing them with something, or it has no connection. So one thing for sure is that we see that there is in the sugya a big machloikas in the Rishonim. The Rishonim deal with this question, and it's a big machloikas. The question is that we see over here the Marik and the Shulchan Aruch, like I mentioned before, in Hilchos Kibud Avim, in Yerodea Siman Reish Mem, Sif Chav Hei, it says over there, these two halachas, which seemingly show that even if a parent asks for something that they want, but not that they're getting anything from it, they don't want the child to go and marry a certain person, they get nothing from it from the fact that the child is listening to their will, to their bakasha, but they're not getting something, they're not getting clothing, they're not getting food. So we see over here that the Marik is not going with those opinions, rather he's being mekel. That's one of the reasons why the Marik is mekel. That they're not getting a direct hana, they're not getting a direct giving of Kibud Avim. So this is the question. What exactly happens when we're faced with this shaila? The shaila comes up that a person comes home and he says, listen, I understand there's a machlokas over here, but I really want to go and marry this person. Do we have to listen to the parents when the parents say no? So one thing is for sure is that we must add that within this big machloikas, like I just mentioned, between the Rishonim, there is a greater machloikas also in the Achronim. The Achronim also delve into this sugya, and they say that even though there are many Rishonim that say that a person does not have to go and listen to the parents when they're not asking for something which is directly benefiting them, however, if it will cause them pain, if it's going to cause them pain, then we get into a problem over here. If it's going to cause them pain, then you have to go and listen to the parent, not to avoid them having any pain. Okay? So this also, like I mentioned, is a machloikas in the Achronim. However, the approach which I received from many of the Gedolei HaPoskim was to be choishes for that. We see in a few tshuvas amongst the poskim that this was the derech of a lot of the poskim to go and be machmir, that if you would have something which would go and cause them pain, then you have to go and definitely be mitchashev, as we say. You should definitely go consider what they're asking for, and therefore it's not so simple. the truth is that even though, like we said, this halacha is a dry halacha, that it's permitted to go and get married to the person of your choice, even if the parents are against it, when Shlomo Zalman Auerbach, Zecher Tzadik Livrocha, the big Poisek Ador in Eretz Yisrael, would get these questions, he would receive these questions, he would always say that I never used this halacha lemaisa. I never gave a psak based on this halacha that a person should go and be mekel and get married to somebody against his parents' will. He always tried to explain to the chosin, to the kala, why exactly it's so important that they should go and try to be mishachnea, which means that they should go and speak to the heart of the parents and explain to them why it is so important for them to go and do this shidduch and to go forward with this shidduch. So that was the Shlomo Zalman's opinion. Many other Gedolei HaPoskim also, they went the same path, and they said that you should definitely try to be with Chashev. Definitely not a good thing to go and get married without the consent of the parents at all, because that won't be a smart thing to do in the future, as many of you can understand. Okay, so that is in regards to the questions of getting married. There's another shiloh over there that comes up. So I got the shiloh once also from a girl who she really was a mitchazeket, she really was strengthening in her Yiddishkeit, and she wanted to go and get married to a ben Torah, a ben yeshiva, and of course the parents were not interested. They not only did they not want her to go and marry a ben Torah, they also told her, we want you to marry somebody who's going to just bring a nice parnasa, doesn't even matter where he's holding in Judaism. And of course, in that situation, after speaking with Gedolei HaTorah, they all said that of course here the lady does not have to go and listen to her parents to go along with it. Obviously, even though the halacha is like that, and like I said in this shayla, she should go and get married to the person who's a ben Torah and grow and make a nice family. However, what we are saying over here is not exactly going with what exactly will come out from this. Meaning, if parents will go and be upset at the children, so that's for sure something which is not so simple. However, the halacha is that we are allowed to go and not listen to the parents in such a case. Also, we have another question over here, like we mentioned, that is brought down the halacha, that a person who wants to go learn a certain yeshiva, or he wants to go to Eretz Yisrael to learn, does he have to listen to the parents? So here too, the halacha is that one does not have to listen to his parents if he wants to go to learn yeshiva in Eretz Yisrael. The question came up many, many times, especially in 1991, the Gulf War, and many of the wars, unfortunately, that Eretz Yisrael has had until then, whether or not a child has listened to his parents when they tell him, we don't want you to go to Eretz Yisrael, the situation is very dangerous. So it happens to be that many of the Gedolei HaPoskim, including Moshe Feinstein, he said that if a person wants to go to Eretz Yisrael and it's a time of war, even though he will learn better over there, he can't go unless he gets permission from his parents. However, the question is, what happens when a child is already in Eretz Yisrael? He's already learning, but the situation is very not simple. So in such a case, the Gedolei HaPoskim came out and said, if you are here already, then it's much easier to say that the halacha would allow you to go and stay. But if you are in Chutz La'aretz and you want to come back to learn for another Zman, it's not so simple. You have to get permission from the parents, because even though your learning will be better, however, the situation is not a simple situation, and a person would not be allowed to do whatever he wants just because his learning will be better in Eretz Yisrael. That was the accepted psak amongst many Gedolei HaPoskim. So we're holding now in the middle of this. We're going to stop now. But Amir Hashem, next week, we'll continue with a few other examples that are important when a parent asks a child to go and do something which they don't get a specific hana from. Thank you guys for listening. Have a great day, and kol tov.